Hello crochet friends, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Olga Poltava and I love crochet, and I share my passion for this wonderful art on my crochet channel. My last video tutorial for crochet cocoon cardigan was quite popular. Thank you so much for all the kind comments, and I'm really glad to know so many people want to give it a try. There was a second project that I made with that stitch. The first one was a scarf, and I really like that stitch, so I didn't stop there. I also made a hat with the same stitch. I used the same yarn as for the cardigan, and now I have a matching cardigan and a matching hat. This is a beanie type of hat. As you can see, it has somewhat lacy texture, so it's not going to be a super warm one, but maybe a nice light hat for spring or fall. And this is what it looks like on me. I'm sure it's gonna look way better on someone who has long hair, which I unfortunately don't. Alrighty, let's go to my craft desk and start working on this hat. To make my hat, I will use about 150 yards of Impeccable Yarn by Loops and Threads and a hook size H 5 millimeters. I start with a magic ring. And I make 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. These 3 chains will count as my first double crochet. Now I make 9 double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3. Here I made 9 double crochets. I'm going to pull my magic ring together and join with a slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3. That was my first round, and now I'm ready to start round 2. I start with 3 chains, 2, 3, and now into the same space where I joined the previous round, I will make a puff stitch and 2 double crochets. So yarn over, I insert the hook, draw up a loop. Yarn over, I insert the hook and draw up a loop. Yarn over, I insert the hook and draw up a loop. And one more time. So now I've done that a total of 4 times. So I have 8 loops over here and 1 chain there. Now yarn over and I draw yarn through all 8 loops, but I keep the chain on the hook, and now again yarn over and I finish my puff stitch. Now into the same stitch I make 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Now into the next double crochet I will work the same way. First I make a puff stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the same double crochet I make 2 double crochets, 1, 2. And I will continue crocheting this way all the way around. So basically into each double crochet I will make a puff stitch and 2 double crochets. I crocheted all the way around, and now I only have 1 double crochet left. So I do the same thing as before. First a puff stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4. But now instead of making 2 double crochets, I will only make 1 double crochet here. And this starting chain over here will count as my second double crochet for this pattern repeat. And now I just join with a slip stitch into the top of the first puff stitch, like this. And I have 10 pattern repeats over here. It feels a bit like the stitches are too crowded over here, but things will work out really nicely in the following rounds. Round 3, I start with 3 chains and I turn my work to the other side. Now I will be working on this side. Into the space between 2 double crochets over here, and actually one of those double crochets was a starting chain 3, and here is the second double crochet. So into the space in between them, I will make a puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then into the same space I will make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. I will skip the rest of the stitches over here, so basically this double crochet and this puff stitch, and now into the next pattern repeat in between 2 double crochets over here. Again, I will make a puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the same space over here I make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Again, I will skip this double crochet and the puff stitch, and into the space between 2 double crochets of the next pattern repeat over here I will work a puff stitch and 3 double crochets, and I will continue crocheting this way all the way around. Here I crocheted all the way around. I am at the end of round 3, and I will join it with a slip stitch to the top of the first puff stitch, like this. I start round 4 with 3 chains and turn, and basically for the rest of my hat I will be working 1 round on this side and 1 round on that side. Okay, so here I turn. Basically, to make my round 4, I will do the same thing that I did in round 3. Into the space between first 2 double crochets of the next group of stitches, I will make a puff stitch. 2, 3, 4, and into the same space I make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. I skip the rest of the stitches in this pattern repeat, or this group of stitches, and into the next group, in the space between the first 2 double crochets, I make a puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Again, I skip the stitches in this pattern repeat, and into the space between 2 stitches of the next pattern repeat, again I will work a puff stitch and 3 double crochets, and I will continue crocheting this way all the way around. Here I finished this round. Now again I will make 3 chains, turn, and start working on my next round. And my next round, round 5, I start the same way. Into the space between 2 first double crochets, I work a puff stitch. 2, 3, 4. But now instead of 3 double crochets, I will make 4 double crochets here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I skip the stitches over here, and into the space between the first 2 double crochets, again I work a puff stitch. 2, 3, 4, and I work 4 double crochets into the same space. 2, 3, 4. And I will continue crocheting this way until the end of the round, then I will join it, and the next round, round 6, I will make exactly the same way. Now I finished the 6th round. This is what my hat looks like so far, and I'm ready to start round 7. Again, chain 3 and turn. And I start crocheting exactly the same way I did before, but in this round, instead of 4 double crochets, I will make 5 double crochets. But first a puff stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I make 5 double crochets into the same space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I skip these stitches over here and into the space between 2 first double crochets of the next group of stitches. Again, I make a puff stitch and 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I continue crocheting this way all the way around. Here I finished round 7, and now again chain 3 and turn. And now rounds 8, 9 and 10 I will crochet exactly the same way I crocheted round 7, basically making a puff stitch and 5 double crochets. But remember to turn after each round. Here is what my hat looks like so far, and I'm ready to start working on the trim of the hat. This time I will not turn, and the remaining 4 rounds I will work on one side of the hat. I start round 11 with chain 1, but as I said, I don't turn. And now in this round I will make a single crochet into each double crochet, but not the puff stitches. So I skip the puff stitch and then I work single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now again I skip the next puff stitch and work single crochets into the double crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, skip the puff stitch and work single crochets. And I will crochet this way around the hat. And here at the end of the round, I join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. And in this round, I must have 50 single crochets altogether. I start round 12 with 3 chains. And now I make a front post double crochet around the next single crochet, like this. Then I make a back post double crochet around the next single crochet, like this. Again, I make a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet, a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet. And I continue crocheting this way all the way around. And at the end of the round I joined with a slip stitch into the top of the first front post double crochet. So I have this chain 3 over here, but it doesn't count as a stitch. It's gonna be hidden behind this first front post double crochet. I start round 13 with 3 chains, but again these 3 chains will not count as a stitch. And now I make a front post around the front post, but also those 3 chains of the previous round, like this. And then I make a back post double crochet around the next back post double crochet. And now I just start alternating a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet. Again, a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet. And I continue crocheting this way all the way around. I joined this round with a slip stitch, and now I only need to make one more round, round 14, and it will be exactly the same way as round 13. So again I start with 3 chains. I make a first front post double crochet, then I make a back post double crochet, then again a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet, just the same way I did before. I will end this round
join it with a slip stitch and fasten off. I join the last round and fasten off, and my hat will be ready.